Welcome to an emergency edition of the Mini Break podcast here at Cracked Rackets. We knew it was going to be a busy Tuesday here on August 9th in the tennis world. We have 21 singles matches scheduled for the ATP Masters 1000 event in Montreal alone. Now, of course, that does not include the countless matches we have going on over in Toronto. A couple of American-based challengers happening in Concord and Chicago this week as well. But of course, all of us woke up to the breaking news on Tuesday. In my opinion, the greatest athlete of my lifetime, certainly on the short list of greatest players in tennis history, Serena Williams, announcing the 2022 US Open will be her final tournament of her career. Of course, Serena Williams, a 23-time Grand Slam singles champion, 14-time major champion in doubles as well. She's been the world number one for the majority of the past 2.5 decades. All of us as tennis fans at some point in our lives have enjoyed a Serena Williams title run, have watched her propel the sport to levels it has never been taken prior. Obviously, Serena Williams has meant so much to so many different people. This is a monumental announcement, and joining me to offer our immediate reactions is the man who joins me every Tuesday to break things down here on the Mini Break podcast. Now, he'll join me later in the day as well to talk about our two 1000 level events happening in Canada, but to offer his reaction to this announcement, it's our guy from Tennis Point, Nate Walroth. Nate, breaking news on a Tuesday. Where were you when you found out?
I believe I was eating breakfast, and I got a few texts from people that don't even necessarily tune into tennis very often, and that's when you know, like, this is a special athlete. I mean, she broke the barrier. She's bigger than tennis. She branded herself in a way beyond measure and turned herself into a mogul. And she was one of the first stars in tennis to do so. And I think you're seeing a lot of people kind of follow in her footsteps, like Leylah Fernandez, like Coco Gauff, like Naomi Osaka. And she just kind of laid the groundwork for the future tennis stars of our sport. So Serena Williams is one of those names that when she's in your tournament, she is the attention. She is the attention grabber in the headline. So Serena Williams has been a part of you and I's life since we have come to know anything in this life. It's like since 1995, she's been on the tour. So just a remarkable career, one of the greatest athletes of all time, one of the most decorated champions in all sports.
Yeah, for perspective, and I'm glad you brought that up, she turned pro in October of 1995. I was born in October of 1995. So her pro career has spanned my entire life. To your point, there has been no Alex Gruskin without a Serena Williams on the pro tour. And I think the thing that made this such a monumental moment, added to the scale of this announcement, it wasn't an innocuous tweet from, just to throw names out there, a Ben Rothenberg or, a Chris Clary, someone like that. No, this was a fully drafted, prepared, clearly worked on statement and article that she presented to all of us via Vogue.com or Vogue magazine. Serena writing in her own words why she decided now is the moment for her to retire. And, it's a long piece, and I want to get into some of it, and we'll try to talk about a bunch of this here on today's show. But some of the couple of quotes that stood out to me, Nate, that I want to run by you, and it starts with, praise to these people, talking to the people who want her to continue to be playing. But she says, but I'm going to be honest, there's no happiness in this topic for me. I know it's not the usual thing to say, but I feel a great deal of pain. It's the hardest thing that I could ever imagine. I hate it. I hate that I have to be at this crossroads. I keep saying to myself, I wish it could be easy for me, but it's not. I'm torn. I don't want it to be over, but at the same time, I'm ready for what's next. I think that is a pivotal passage from her piece. One of the other ones I would point to in response to, again, her quest at 23 Grand Slams. She's still obviously one short of that all-time record from Margaret Court. But, Serena Williams had strong thoughts on this as well. And she goes, the way I see it, I should have had 30 plus Grand Slams. I had my chances after coming back from giving birth, referring to the two finals she played in 2019. I went from a C-section to a second pulmonary embolism to a Grand Slam final. I played while breastfeeding. I played through the postpartum depression, but I didn't get there. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I didn't show up the way I should have or could have. But I showed up 23 times, and that's fine. Actually, it's extraordinary But these days, if I have to choose between building my tennis resume and building my family, I choose the latter. And what those two passages mean to me, Nate, more than anything else is, and to quote the article, the title of the Vogue article, this is her going out on her own terms, in her own words, understanding or choosing that in this moment, family has become more important to her than her tennis career. And as much as we might all miss her as tennis fans, that's all you ever want for your players, for your idols on court, is for them to have that opportunity to go out in the way that they desire. And it feels as though, while she'd want to go out, obviously, in the winner's circle in New York, it feels like this is Serena Williams going out on her own terms. And isn't that what we always wanted?
100%. And I think we've seen this. The only thing I can relate, and like, at least from an athlete's perspective, is what Kobe did, kind of going out on his own terms, having his his farewell tour. And Serena deserves that. I mean, she's going to have her American hardcourt swing here with a couple of her favorite events coming up. Luckily, we get to have her in Cincinnati. Hopefully she's healthy for that and gets to make her run. And I know the fans just adore her here. I mean, when she goes to the mall and stuff, it's like people will just go to the mall just to lay eyes on Serena Williams and just to see her and like everything she kind of brings to the table. It's like, it's Serena Williams. And I think she's just at that point of her career where her body has betrayed her at times. I mean, she's about to be 41 years old. So, I mean, father's time is undefeated. And if we get one more good run out of this, I think tennis fans can send her off on a great note. And yeah, like she said, she's got a family now. She's going to find her next calling. I mean, she's so talented. She's got so many things going for her. She'll find what's next for her in her career. But we really, I think, as tennis fans, need to embrace these last 2 months or whatever it is left in her career and just celebrate what she did for our sport, what she did for female athletes in general. And just, yeah, I mean, she's just been a great ambassador for athletes and tennis players all over the world.
And again, I highly recommend anyone tuning into this or listening to this, go to, Google Serena Williams Vogue, and you can find Serena Williams says farewell to tennis on her own terms and in her own words on Vogue's website, of course, Vogue magazine, writing the piece again. She talked about all of the things she's gone through throughout the course of her career, not only the commitment to success on the court, but what it looks like off the court to achieve the things that she has. And we'll have plenty of time to discuss this over the course of the next month, particularly after the US Open, when she finally has played her final tournament. We can go through the stats one final time, but just a quick overview of what Serena Williams has accomplished in case you need any reminding and you see the slam results below. It's been, 2.5 decades of success for her at the highest levels of the sport. Again, 23 slams, second all time. She's won 6+ titles at 3 of the 4 slams, the only player in WTA Tour history to do that. She's made 33 finals, second all time, 40 semifinals, third all time, 54 quarterfinals, the most all time. She also has 69+ wins at all 4 slams, the only player to do that. And again, the accolades just continue to come. She's one of 10 players to have won the career slam, the only player to do it in both singles and doubles after the age of 30. So let's be clear. She won the US Open, Wimbledon, Australian Open, and French Open, each once in singles and doubles, all after the age of 30. What have you done with your life to this point? I'll tell you what Serena Williams has done through after 30. It's been a Hall of Fame player. Of course, she's one of just 5 players with the career slam in singles and doubles, the only player with 10 slam titles after 30 years old, the only player with 10+ slam titles in 2 different decades, 73 total titles, is 5th all time. And again, perhaps most notably, she's number 1 in all-time prize money, over $94 million. Of course, the commercialization of professional tennis, the rising prize money for both men and women, so much of that propelled by the popularity of Serena Williams. You can go look at the ratings whenever she plays. Any network that has tennis on their screen is going to get a boost. She sells out stadiums. God only knows what the price of a ticket will be to go and see her play in New York. She's the greatest player of our lifetime. Like Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, you can put them aside. Serena's number 1, in my opinion, Nate.
And the special thing with Serena is she still has some juice in the tank. Like we got to see yesterday, her kind of show up and like that greatness came up on the screen again. Some of those points that she had on the run, defending, changing defense to offense, and finishing off with a massive forehand, like she still has it. And like it's just a matter of holding it over a whole calendar year. But I mean, she can still produce some unbelievable tennis. And I think that's what I'm most looking forward to. Is I think now that the pressure's off her shoulders with her announcing her retirement, she doesn't have to listen to any more questions. There's no more skepticism on when her career is going to wind down and come to an end. This is it for her. And there's nothing to lose. She's going to lay it all out there. And we saw yesterday her have a very solid win in Canada. And she seemed to just enjoy herself, have fun. The crowd reactions that we're so used to seeing our whole lifetime, it was back. The energy was back in the building. And she is, like you said, she is the crowd, the people that the crowd come to see. And she's the Tiger Woods of our sport. Like when she's playing, everybody's tuned in. It's like it's a Sunday at the Masters when Serena's playing. And we get to have it for 2 more months. I'm hoping she gets to produce some more magic. Because I think she just brings an audience that tennis doesn't always get to have across all these events. And then she'll bring it to Cincinnati, whether it's Canada, Cincinnati, US Open. It's going to be a ton of fun. And I think she'll play her best tennis this year now that she kind of has this monkey off her back.
2.5 decades. 2.5 decades. That's what it's been for Serena Williams, who, another stat I could just throw out there, she is the one of 2 players in history to have the Golden Slam under her belt, to win all the slams in singles plus an Olympic gold medal. Again, she did all of that after 30. It's just like you put together the short list. I think Michael Jordan's got to be on it. I don't really remember watching him, but we all know the accolades, to do it post-retirement, to come back, play at the level he did. He's on that list. LeBron James has to be on that list for me in our generation, because again, to see him make 11 finals, whatever it is, 8 straight, just a ridiculous run of longevity. I think Tom Brady's probably on that list. Just again, he's done it now, 45 years old, whatever it may be. And Serena actually speaks of how, perhaps if she was a man, she could continue to be the Tom Brady in this sport, continue to play and not have to have the burden of, laboring a child on you and trying to come back from that physically, an immense burden for any sort of athlete to have to overcome. I think those are the comparisons for her. It's the elite list.
And almost all of those athletes you just mentioned, I think of a rival that they had throughout their career. There was somebody that was trying to take what they had or what they were trying to go after. With Serena Williams, she didn't have a rival. She dominated everybody. There was no kryptonite for Serena Williams. When she was playing her best tennis, you had no chance. You had no answers. She's the greatest server of all time, probably the best forehand of all time. And for her stature, a great mover, light on her feet we just won't see another Serena Williams. With her power, her finesse, and just the way she carried herself, she's a once-in-a-lifetime type athlete. So we got to enjoy her throughout her entire life, and it's gonna be weird though. Even though she hasn't been a staple in the top 10 or whatever for the last few years, battling injuries and stuff, we've always known that there's a comeback story waiting to happen with Serena, and we won't have that feeling after this US Open.
Oh, it's just amazing the generations of challengers she's had, right? And it did feel like she had a rival for the hottest of seconds in Maria Sharapova, 20-2 in her career against Sharapova. That's
a little lopsided.
Again, it's like Halep, 10-2. Azarenka, 18-5. Venus probably came closest at 19-12 against Serena. But, again, you just look against all of these players, against, whomever it may be, from Simona Halep, who she's 10-2 against, to Justine Henin, who she's 8-6 against, Kim Clijsters, 7-2, Martina Hingis, 7-6. Generation after generation, again, late 90s, 2000s, 2010s, even early 2020s. She faced them all. She beat them all. She is the greatest player we have seen, in my opinion, in women's, certainly in the Open era. And again, I'm not old enough to say I didn't see Navratilova. I didn't see Everett at their finest. I know, speaking to all the experts, what's the difference between the game now and then? It's the depth in women's tennis. It's the players ranked not necessarily 1, 2, 3, but 40, 50, 60, who continue to get better and better and better. And Serena beats all of them, generation after generation. Her serve was transcendent. The power tennis she was capable of playing, the athleticism, just match in, match out, point in, point out. Obviously, the fight, the tenacity. She was everything to this sport.
Imagine being the best at anything in this world, and your greatest competition, your greatest rival is the person you grew up with your entire life.
It's crazy.
It's your sibling. That to me is just a story in itself. It's amazing what what these two women have done. And yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen the movie, go check out the documentary. Awesome stuff. But yeah, I mean, what are you looking most forward to over the next 2 months? What are you gonna be watching for?
Oh, the crowds. The crowds are going to be incredible. The energy, and it's always an electric atmosphere, particularly since Serena has come back, since having Olympia. The energy, the atmosphere on court, it's tremendous. And New York's going to, again, support her, back her, try to will her to at least a second week appearance. I thought she looked pretty good in her first round win, straight set win in Toronto. I mean, it was tough at Wimbledon, but you said it a little bit earlier. The freedom of knowing now I am retiring. And now I can just enjoy these last few months, leave it out there because I know the finish line is in sight. B, the fact that it's on a hard court and she's had more time to prepare with the data points from Wimbledon under her belt as well. I mean, do I think she's going to win the US Open? No, I don't. Do I think she's going to beat someone over this next month that she's not supposed to? Absolutely. And I'm just ready to buckle in for the ride.
That's worth it.
Anything else, Nate.
If she does that, that's worth it. Like that'll make. I mean, that's what we've all been waiting for. Just to see Serena have a chance at someone that she can kind of have that comeback story where she's not done yet, and the crowd is gonna be on her side. This is for Olympia. This is gonna be a memory that she'll never forget. She's never seen her mom be the center of attention since what is she, like 3 or 4 years old? So this will be the one time where she gets to see her mom as the center of attention, the headline, the main event. So it'll be a special moment for her and her family. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see her in Cincinnati for one last time. I know the crowds are going to come out in bunches just to see Serena's serve and forehand one last time.
We talk about clubs all the time here at Cracked Rackets, and you win 60% of your matches or 2/3 of your matches, you're going to keep moving up the rankings. Serena was 176 and 71 against top 10 opponents in her career. She won 71% of her matches against the top 10. I mean, yeah, again, we all know what she's capable of, and we're not that far removed. What season was it? I mean, again, it was pre-pandemic, pre a couple of injuries, but 2018, 2019, she made finals at Wimbledon and the US Open consecutively. She made the finals of the US Open in 2020. It's there. Like I talked about this on yesterday's mini break. Right now, there are only 7 players on the WTA Tour who rank top 25 in both hold and break percentage. Outside of Iga, like who else is really there is a firm challenger for a title? The answer is there's no definitive answer. And so why not Serena? Why not? She deserves the fairy tale ending.
She does. For sure. And I think she's going to get it. Like for me, like to get the fairy tale ending, that does not mean she needs to hold the trophy on the final Sunday of the US Open. She just needs to make some noise, get to that second week. And I mean, 2 or 3 wins, and we're never going to forget what she did at 41 years old after all of her troubles, getting her body back to where she needed to feel comfortable on the court again. And now, like, we just get to enjoy the show. I know, like, since the energy in Cincinnati, when you have the stars, whether it's Serena, Roger, Rafa, it just adds so much more juice to the tournament. And you start to draw in the casual fans that we want to bring to tennis. We want the people that just come to be entertained for a week or two. And Serena's going to give the fans just that. And that's to us, that's a huge lift for our sport. And that's how we grow the game, is we got to give the attention to the superstars, and Serena's handled the podium better than anybody else.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Every generation should get better. We want to see improvement, but Serena Williams has set the bar high, and it's a bar everyone, male, female, doesn't matter. If you're a professional tennis player, that's who you want to be. That's the sort of career that you're chasing. Again, what a career it's been for Serena Williams, and we'll get to see her play a few more times now as she closes things out at the 2022 US Open. But again, Nate, appreciate you taking the time to join us for this emergency reaction. We'll have plenty more on this as we continue to watch this story develop over the course of the next month. It is the story in tennis. Serena Williams announcing her decision to retire after the 2022 US Open. Of course, we'll talk about her on-court performance in Canada as well as the rest of the action later on today on the Mini Break podcast. But with that in mind, a shout out to super producer Daniel Westoff. I texted him at 11 o'clock today. I was like, hey, can you get something for us so we can rock and roll? And he goes, yeah, give me a couple hours. And here we are now.
My final thought would be, you mentioned the crowd's reactions to her, but like, I can't wait to see how her fellow her fellow, like all the athletes in the locker room, whether it's the WTA players, the ATP players, just to see how those athletes give her flowers. I can't. I know they're going to do something special for her, and now I'll be waiting to see kind of all the embraces and the emotions that come with how she's respected and kind of given the attention that she deserves from all of her peers.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is the big thing about this announcement. Now we get to celebrate her properly and give her the send-off she deserves. And so I like that's the place to end again.
We saw it with Joe Songa, and this is Serena Williams. I mean, Songa had an awesome tribute from all of his players, and this is the biggest name in the sport, arguably. So it's going to be a show. I hope everybody gets to tune in. Come to Cincinnati, August 13th to 21st. Come to the U.S. Open. Tennis Point will be at both. I know Cracked Rackets will be making some appearances, so hopefully we all get to celebrate together.
I love to hear. Well, with that said, for the fantastic Nate Walroth, our super producer Daniel Westhoff, and all of us here at both Cracked Rackets and the Tennis Channel Podcast Network, I'm your host, Alex Gruskin. This has been an emergency edition of the Mini Break.
Talk to you guys soon.